So Rich Wattie is dialed in. I'm going to locate him. Or Rich, can you unmute your mic? There he is.
I think I can. Here I
Okay,
am. Hi,
good.
how you doing, Earl?
Doing fine, Rich. So Rich is at Eastman School of Music. He works in the recording department there. He knows a heck of a lot of what is happening in the school program, and of course, Eastman is one of the top-rated music programs in North America, and that would rank it high in the world. But tonight I know he presented a video, and he may be able to chat a little bit more too about what Eastman's doing along the lines of what Jeff has just been talking about. But they've just been involved in a project which is basically a virtual opera, and so I have the audio working on this. Rich, do you want me to play it first before you talk about it, or how
Oh,
do you?
sure, sure. Why don't you go right ahead and play it, and then if there's questions, I can talk.
Great.
Maybe you need to be the last person to say something. Or maybe not. Yeah, we did that Jack trip with Skype about, was that 2 years ago? For the
And
jazz thing,
yeah,
and that worked out okay. Jack trip was a little heady to get working, so I'm excited to try this other one. Sound Connect it was? Sound Connect or Source Connect Live. There it is. And
here
Mariana,
I'm
you
queued up.
mentioned doing the remote control through Zoom. I did the same thing with a professor. He was a drummer, and he couldn't be right near his computer, so I zoomed into it, remote controlled it, and I was actually running his session. And I said, "Okay, here, let me make a quick edit for you, and here's how you cut." And I kind of taught him how to do GarageBand.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it
All
was a
right,
neat little bit.
I've got
I'll
her.
stop talking and let you
No
hit
problem.
play, or okay. Hello, Toronto AES. My name is Rich Wattie. Along with my best wishes, I'm sending a quick video to show what I've been working on for the Eastman School of Music Eastman Connect series. The Eastman Opera Theater put together a 48-member chorus to remotely record Make Our Garden Grow from Leonard Bernstein's operetta Candide. Multiple departments worked together to instruct the performers how best to record themselves. The opera department had a Zoom call to discuss the musical details, a playback piano track was created, and 60 videos came in from the performers. After syncing them up in Final Cut Pro X, I sent the synced audio files to another Eastman engineer, Lou Chitty. Lou denoised and mixed the audio while I compiled the video. I wanted to create an effect I had seen from another music school, where the boxes of students zoomed out. I chose to work in a 4K 60p project. My thought was that I could have shorter frames and be able to better line things up. Some sections required speeding up and slowing down the video to line up the singers. I duplicated the same edits in the separate audio files using FlexTime. I also tuned a few parts using Melodyne. I created the black frame to make it look more uniform, and so that I didn't have to be as perfect with my cropping. Some of the students chose wide shots and others extreme close-ups. I used sketch.io to draw the frames and exported as .png files to maintain the transparency. It was important to make the video accessible so all of the text appears on screen, although I did later learn that you can create closed captions in Final Cut Pro. There's the bumper intro. Quotes read by members of the opera department.
Where we love is home, home that our feet may leave, but not our hearts.
You've been a fool, and so have I. But come and be my wife, and let us try before we die.
First 12 singers.
To make some sense of life. We're neither pure nor wise nor good. We'll do the best we know.
And then the dramatic pullback to all 48 singers.
Grow
who disappear to reveal the logo and credits. Thanks for checking out the video. The full version should be released in time to start your weekend. So, yeah, that's the video I've been working on. We've been doing it all remotely. All the students sent all their stuff, and the director gave me a bunch of stuff to fix, and when we thought we were done, communications gave me more. But it looks like it'll get released on Friday and be out to the world. It's not amazing, no latency, real-time communication, but it's kind of the illusion of it. I'm surprised how many people believe it's possible.
I got a question just before we move on. Like, you sent them the track, and everybody sang to a common track. Did they have to include any type of synchronization or clap or point the camera towards? Like, how did you? What was the secret sauce of that one?
Absolutely. The original plan was that there was going to be time code in a video with the playback track. The playback track was going to be piano with a click track. What we ended up having was piano only MP3 with no video. So instead of them turning their cameras and showing me time code, I just got them singing and I got a score. So I just followed along in the music and lined them up. And there were definitely parts where they phrased it completely different from each other. So I had to just go in and say, okay, here's where this note starts visually. Put a marker, here's where this next note starts visually, and then find the audio lines and then slow down and speed up the video to make it line up.
Did anybody import the file at the wrong sample rate, causing you to bring it back at a different sample rate on your end, and they gave like this isn't like a key, what would it be, higher or lower, you know? Did any one person do that?
Oh, no, everything came in, well, some of them were 44.1, some of them were 48. I even had a 96K file that came in from the students. All of the video formats were completely different, but Final Cut Pro just dealt with it. I exported each audio file individually, sent them to another audio engineer, and he went through with Isotope RX, denoise, dereverbed, and mixed it all together. I mentioned I did auto-tune a couple of them that were particularly heinous. But for the most part, they were good singers, and it kind of mixed pretty well together.
Do you put that on a report card, like particularly heinous, must use auto-tune?
You should hear me in the studio. I'm yelling at the end of the night, you don't get an encore. That wasn't good enough.
I just want to see a report card that says particularly heinous. Terrible tuning.
Well,
Get the hell out.
Terrible tuning. I appreciate you all listening to it.
Thank you, Rich.
Frank, do you have your videos so that you can do what everybody else is doing and save my bacon?
Oh, I see another question. How long did the syncing take? The whole thing took about 2 weeks. But it was mostly just because I was waiting for stuff in between. I think if I had to just sit down and drink a pot of coffee, that I could get the whole video done in, I don't know, 12 hours or so. That might be appropriate.
It's also, you have edit farms. You also have all these idle editor hands. So, you know, everybody chops it up. Is there a way in Final Cut to aggregate sessions? So let's say 5 people worked on, like you had your map of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you delegate a whole bunch of different people to create like a submix of the video for you and do it 4 times as fast?
Well, you can create compound clips. So you could sort of say, okay, here's this compound clip. It's just a placeholder for now, but I'm going to put in something that someone else is going to give me. Yeah, you could definitely do that. And Final Cut seems to do really well with dealing with resolutions. So I just picked a 4K. I said, well, what's the biggest I can pick? And it looked like 4K. So I picked that. And then even though the videos look small and they didn't look amazing while I was working on them, when it exports them, it does everything as high a quality as it can. So the software is real smart. I've been real happy with it.
Have you heard of acapella software kind of built for this?
Oh, yeah, the app Acapella, right?
Is it an app?
Yeah, there's an app on the iPhone.
There's an app for that?
There's an app. We looked at it, and it's fun, and it's kind of like a cool toy, but you don't get the kind of control that you can get with a full-fledged editor.
So how do you coordinate the planning of an event like this? Okay, so we've got Slack, we've got Jira, we've got Google, we've got Teams. Like, how we as the AES, we work in Google because, well, it's free. Like that's it. Like, as the school, do you as a professor have a collaboration tool that is like a Google School or something that's homebrew? Like, what? How do you do?
Well, we use Confluence for a wiki, and that's to anything I learn or any serial numbers, any data or reference goes into Confluence, and that's our wiki. We use Slack as a communications tool. I'm in technology and media production department, so all of us are on this. And we also have some other departments that can communicate with us. And we started using Monday to organize between communications and my department what's going on with different projects, who are we waiting on, that sort of stuff. We had Zoom calls to get everything kind of organized. All of the departments have their own organization anyway. So like the opera department has people that are the director and can wrangle the students up. And then we put the documentation together, sent it all out via box.com. And that's the same way that they uploaded their files. So that's kind of the system.
That's super good. Somebody's asking to elaborate on the denoise and the de-reverb. Like right now, we got different acoustics. Now we're like de-acoustifying or decoustifying. Is it decoustifying? Do we have a deacoustician on the call? I'm trying to now get the proximity effect of something richer when I eliminate the room and eliminate the sides of it. Like, what are some of the strategies or some of the challenges that your production team faced with that?
Lou said he was driving himself nuts going through 60 different takes, and I think a lot of it was just sort of clicks. I just noticed there's a whole chat going. The iPhone microphones were used for a lot of them. Some of the students sent me separate audio files that they'd recorded with their handheld Zoom or other recorder. But what Lou was doing with RX was going in and denoising, just kind of removing clicks and whatnot. He also found a lot of EQ was needed to remove room modes. We're all in smaller spaces, so it just doesn't sound amazing.
Can you give a student a grade? It's like, come on, grade that. Do you think that's good? Like
The students have till the end of the semester to choose whether they want letter grades or pass-fail. So
well, you teach a recording course. You're one of our academic liaisons, as we say. We've done a lot of partnerships with Rochester, and right now you're getting students to pay for quality, as in Jeff is as well. A room acoustics, isotope removal. Everybody's got that stuff. Part of I guess maybe being a musician moving forward is having a deliverable that you can send to someone as a session musician. So, do you or the people who fought with those things give those users feedback to help improve the quality of their recordings?
Yeah, and I actually offered at the beginning, because we have interns that ran out of work as soon as everything got canceled. What was it, 300 events got canceled in a course of a couple of months. So I had personnel available. I said, well, why don't we just, anyone that's on that's recording themselves, we'll Zoom call with them and I'll tell them what to do. I'll be like, no, you're framing it wrong, and we can do iterations. And they're like, no, these are students. You have to slow down. We're going to get one shot at this. They're going to send it to us or they're not. And so it wasn't as much a collaborative process. It was more here's all the information, and we kind of got what we got. And communications was kind of surprised that they were like, wait, don't you have any more video for this person? Why'd they shut their camera off so early? That's why I had them all shutting off at the end. I was like, well, some of them shut it off as soon as the song was over. Some of them didn't wait. I don't know. My wife is a caterer, or my wife was a caterer. So there's all these, events that got canceled for her. One of the things she's done to kind of keep herself busy is deliver food to people, and she's got some local musicians that she's like, my husband's in the basement, he'll figure it out, he'll make a video like this or whatever. And so they're talking about doing a Zoom call with some pre-recorded remotely, and these musicians all have studios in their house, so they can record something decent, and I'll put it together. We'll do 3 songs, and people will go pick up their food. They put it in the oven, heat it up, and then at 7 o'clock is the show. So they'll tune in.
That's the community we're looking for, Rich. Let's. Sorry, I'm chatting too much, and I got my mic open. I'm sorry. Well, I'm just going to mute my mic and pass it back to Earl. Thank you, Rich. That was really amazing, fantastic.